I'm Ronnie from Ronnie's Garage. Today we're holding our monthly technical seminar. We've got a silver Spur here that has a problem with the electric windows, one direction only from the passenger front door, and we're going to fix that. When a customer calls or brings a car in with a complaint, I like to confirm the complaint. So we'll just check to see that window over there is working fine from this switch. A little slow, but it's not running. So it goes down fine, but does not go up. So that's a common problem on these. What these cars have is they have these little micro switches that operate the windows. And they have lots of wiring, little micro switches, and the micro switches have 3 terminals on them. They've got a feed, which generally goes to the window motor on these, because there's 2 switches and you want to reverse the polarity on the motor. They'll have a feed, and then they'll have 2 other. They'll have one contact that is normally closed and one that is normally open. And I think, according to the wiring diagram on this, the normally closed is a ground. So that if you operate one switch, what you're doing is you're supplying voltage to the window motor on one side, while the other side goes through the normally closed contacts and has its ground. And then to go the opposite direction,
So they switch the ground.
they switch both.
Oh, they switch.
Yeah, well the
You
ground's...
got 3 wires, so they're switching just one.
Right. So you're reversing the polarity is
Right,
essentially what you're doing. Yeah. So you're switching ground and positive. So what we're going to do is...
I read up on it. Sometimes the contacts get corroded, they said.
And it's usually on the ground side.
Oh, okay.
Because they just get corrosion on them, and they get... The problem is the resistance. They lose so much voltage from the thin wires and the switches all over the car that's where they go bad. So, anyways, so what I'm going to do is pull the door panel. I will pull this piece off first. The British use it a lot. It looks like a Phillips, but it's not exactly. If you look at the screws, they'll have little notches on them between the gaps. If you see that, you see these little notches on there? Mm-hmm. I should use my glasses too. See how there's little notches? Mm-hmm. See the notch? And then the screwdriver has an extra groove in there too in the center. See that? Okay. And they are a blunter end, so a regular Phillips is pointed, and it'll round these off if you use the wrong screwdriver. If you buy those little bit kits, a lot of times they'll be in there. Let's see. Okay, so the 2 screws come up through here. There's a washer on them too. And one thing about a lot of the washers on these cars, you see, what I'm going to do is take this light, we'll twist out of there, see that? And I'll pull the bulb out. So, a lot of the washers you see are fit tighter, but they're not real wide. A lot of washers you buy at the, like Ace or whatever, might fit tightly, but they'll be a lot bigger in diameter. And if you look, you don't always have that much space. See how this is cut out? So try to keep all your washers. Just pay attention. Let's see here. And then this armrest is held on with, I think they're 4mm hex head screws, bolts, whatever you want to call them, and they're an 8mm head on them. And if you look at this washer, it's really big. Nice woodwork they do on these. I like the big panels.
Pretty good.
See that? Still got this vinyl behind there. Let's see here. Now these generally will have screws in them.
Yeah,
there's a number of them. They like to pop loose. They have snaps in them, but sometimes you can't see them. I see the one right there. This is not normally where they're at. A lot of people add screws because the panels won't stay attached, and they usually disappear in the carpet, which is kind of handy. There we go. I think there's one more out here. There we go. And then you've also got some more posi drive screws coming down through here. Now these are chrome plated down here because you can see them, sort of. And they've got washers also, but they're a special kind of washer. Let me get it out of here. As you can see, this is a posi drive. It has those little notches also. And then it has what's called a flush washer. So this flush washer is tapered like the screw is, and what it does, the flush washers do, you see them mostly on leather and wood, is they keep the leather from twisting when you tighten the screw. So it allows the screw to turn without twisting the leather or cracking the wood. Got two of those. And like I said, I like to get the washers while I can, because sometimes you'll just pop the panel off and they'll go rolling away and you won't have them.
Frank, for future use, if one wants to replace speakers on this car, is that the whole project like this to remove the door panel? And
Well, the speaker's behind there, so yes. There we go.
You don't have to take the top.
No, you do not have to take the wood off on top. You see it's got these little panel clips, and they're riveted onto the... A lot of times on cars that are old, really old cars, and they got a lot of water damage, you pull it and these all pop off and break. It's kind of annoying.
Is that wood? Yeah, where do you
it's
get
plywood.
these clips?
You can get them from the dealer, or from Flying Spares has them.
Okay.
You can order them.
Yeah, because I got a couple of bent ones.
And these, yeah.
When you
And
put
if you
them
want to
in.
change them, what you can do, a little screwdriver here, is I'm gonna, once I get it off, you see how I'm putting one corner on there?
Yeah.
And then you just...
Oh, that's how you do it.
That's how you get it in. That's how you put them back in, too. And just twist them back.
Well, mine are more of a wire, if I remember.
They shouldn't be. Not on your car. The Bentley out there?
Yeah.
They shouldn't be a wire. There's plastic ones they use also on more modern cars. They're called like a fir tree is what it's called, because it has all these little... And those things are really obnoxious.
You're right.
I am.
So far, my ride.
They like to break. They have plastic mounts. They like to break, so you gotta mess with all that. So I'm gonna put this in a safe place. It's usually right on the roof, points facing up. Now we gotta get behind this. This is held on by these pieces. The window switch. These have little bezels that pry off. They've got little
Yeah.
points. They're not that nice. See, they got these posts, and they fit into little plastic ferrules. So this also has a little points and ferrules. So it's, there we go. This car is just so pristine. You don't see a scratch on the chrome. See, that one's got a broken one.
Ah. Should negotiate the price.
damn, I knew I bought the wrong car.
So this piece up here has two little machine screws that are slotted, and you won't find them in a hardware store because they're extra fine. They're not just fine thread; they're extra fine. So don't lose them. I've taken a lot of cars apart that have been into before, and you'll see even sheet metal screws in there because they lose them. You just got to pay attention. Okay, this what's going to come off, so I've got to hold it. All right, this should just slide right off.
That's worth some bucks. That slab.
And you see a lot of desert cars where they're really faded, warped, peeling. This all is labor intensive, this kind of stuff, where they take routers and fit all that, so you got the clearance around here.
Wow.
And if you notice this door handle escutcheon, it's got an extra piece of trim there to take up the space,
Wow.
and it helps keep it from rattling. All right.
Well, it's only when you take this apart do you realize how much effort has gone into it.
Yeah, it's amazing how many man hours are put into these cars when they're built. And this period of the factory, they were really on a ragged edge. They were really struggling to stay alive. These times when they came out with that Bentley Turbo R, that turned the company around. To be honest with you.